going on, y'all? Welcome back to Getting Technical Podcast. We are starting episode 4. This will be our second football one. So we can just jump right into it. Obviously, in our last episode, we spoke about how deep the wide receiver position is in the NFL and how there's, 12, 13, 14 quarterbacks that, you can classify as a lead or in the top 10, you could say. So I guess now we want to talk about our best duos, quarterback, wide receiver duo. And because, this is going to be a pretty crazy year, I feel like, statistically, especially with the 17-game season now. I feel like over the next, couple years, with how talented the quarterback and receiver position is, we're going to see a lot of records be broken. And I don't know, it's kind of hard to say that those records are broken because guys like Peyton and Brady and Favre and, and if you go way back, they did it in 16 games.
Right.
So,
and even less, some of them, they used to play 14.
Yeah.
In the 70s and 80s.
Yeah. So, but yeah, we could jump right into it. So, my top 5 quarterback wide receiver duos. At 1, I have Josh Allen and Stephon Diggs. At 2, I have Matt Stafford and Cooper Kupp. 3, I have Justin Herbert and Keenan Allen. 4, I have Tom Brady and Mike Evans. And then 5, I have Derek Carr and Devontae Adams. I just think Allen and Diggs are going to have a spectacular year, like you have been saying. We already saw what Stafford and Kupp do together, which is pretty insane. Obviously, the elbow injury is kind of concerning for Stafford, but hoping all is well with him and he's healthy. That duo is pretty legit. And then, obviously the Herbert and Keenan is, we've seen that before. Brady Evans, we've seen that. But, the new one is Derek Carr and Devontae Adams, but they have some history at Fresno State, so I think they'll be really good this year.
Yeah. Yeah, I got the same number 1 as you, number 1 and number 2. I got Allen and Diggs, Stafford and Kupp. I agree that it's kind of questionable with Stafford. I mean, we'll see what happens, but he's had shoulder injuries. He's still been able to ball out. He's a really, really tough guy. Next, I got Cousins and Jefferson. Jefferson's just putting up record-setting numbers year in, year out. Most receiving yards by a wide receiver in his first 2 seasons. I think just as they continue to go on and get even more comfortable with each other, I think they'll kind of solidify themselves. Next, I got Burrow and Chase. I mean, they did it in college. We've seen them do it in the NFL. I think that they just kind of get better with age. Next, I got Devontae and Carr also. Again, same thing. They played in college. Devontae's the best wide receiver in the league. He's going to make Derek Carr better. Derek Carr, a couple years ago now, I mean, it's been about like 4 or 5 years now since Derek Carr was like on that MVP candidate role, and then he broke his leg. But he still has one of the best arms in the league, one of the best playmakers in the league. And I wanted to put Herbert and Keenan. I think Herbert is definitely an MVP candidate. He's a tough guy. He's one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I just think there's so many people in that offense. You got Allen, Williams, Eckler, Guyton. I mean, they just have so many people that are able to catch the ball and do different things. I just think that he's more of just kind of like an overall, just like stat monster.
Distributor, yeah.
Keenan gets his. Like Keenan can have over 100 catches in a year. But I just think that Devontae's talent is just far and above better than everybody else in the league. I'll benefit of the doubt to them.
Bird, I also had the same top 2. So I got Allen and Diggs 1, Stafford and Kupp 2. I don't really think you can really debate that much. I got Brady and Evans 3, Burrow and Chase 4, Carr and Adams at 5. Like you said earlier, I threw Carr and Adams in there because I just think Devontae's the best receiver. Herbert and Jesus Christ. I just had a blank out moment.
Herbert and Allen?
I forgot Keenan Allen's name.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're both great, but like you said, that offense is stacked. He's going to be distributing the ball to so many guys. So that was that for me.
I feel the same way with Brady. I mean, Mike Evans, tough guy, definitely gonna be a Hall of Famer first bout, I think. But Chris Godwin's coming back off the ACL. They just added Julio Jones. That's gonna be a huge pickup for them. Leonard Fournette's.
Russell Gage, you said, right?
Yeah. They added Russell Gage. It's just Brady's just another guy who's gonna distribute the ball. He's done it his entire career. There's no reason to think that he's not gonna do it again. So I think that just for the lack of stats that they'll have together, I think just because of that, I can't put them in my top 5.
Yeah, and it's also like you said before, Zach. There's just so much talent. Like,
Yeah.
whenever we post these lists or whatever, there's gonna be so many people like, what about these guys? What about? It's like probably just honestly just forgot about them.
Yeah, I mean,
there's
it's just
so much
preference, you know what I
talent.
mean? It's just
Yeah.
like what you think, you know? There's no right or wrong. I mean, until, I guess, the season progresses and we
Yeah,
see.
and
And even
what
then, it's
happens.
just like
Yeah.
unless you're just going based on yards, like it's subjective.
Yeah, and another thing, I mean, you could even, and I'm sure people will add in Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. I mean, that could be an easy dynamic duo that's gonna be able
I
to
mean,
form
bro,
for
there's
years
so
to come.
many. There's so many new ones. I
It's
mean,
crazy.
Tua, Tyreek Hill, Kyler Murray, Hollywood Brown, even like you were saying, like Trevor Lawrence, Christian Kirk.
Murray and Hop even.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah, there's so much talent in the league right now. It's really with any sport too, basketball as well. Like the league's just loaded.
yeah.
Both
No,
leagues.
talent is
And that's another reason
probably
why, like,
the best it's been in
when
a
people
long
say
time.
you can't compare eras, I think that I agree to a certain extent you can't, but when you say, oh, like this guy wouldn't have been able to perform in the 80s, it was too physical, or the 90s it was too physical, the game was different. You can't touch anybody in either sport anymore. There's so many pass interference calls now in the NFL. People are shooting free throws. Like James Harden was averaging 11 free throws a game his MVP year. It was insane. But when you think about it, the amount of talent that players have nowadays and the sports medicine that's out, I just think that the talent and overall landscape of all sports is just far and above. There's obviously outliers like Jerry Rice and Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, shit like that, but top to bottom, when you look throughout a league, there's just it just keeps getting better
Yeah.
and better.
Yeah, times are different, and it's just evolution of life.
Yeah.
Things get better as time progresses, and I
Yeah.
mean,
Just the way it is.
I mean, I'm sure we'll eventually be like the old heads stuck in our ways. Like, nah,
Right.
Brady was the best, Mahomes was the best,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
you know, there's
yeah.
going to be more talented guys later down the road, but that's just evolution of sports, and that's
the
I
way
guess
it
why
is.
there is debates, because the newer generation always has a different opinion than the older generation, and it's just a never-ending cycle.
Yeah, we love to disagree, right?
Yeah.
What's our next one?
Next topic, would you rather current QBs?
All right, cool.
Wanna
I'll
start
start that
off,
off.
Yeah.
My QB, I got Dak. First one up, would you rather have Dak or Derek Carr?
Oh, wow. That's a tough one.
And all the guys I picked, I feel like they're kind of all in that range. Like if you were to go rank all the quarterbacks,
Yeah.
I think they're all in that same area.
I think I'm going to go Derek Carr because I feel like he has not had as much to work with in his career. Like those Cowboys offenses were loaded, and they haven't really done anything in the playoffs. So I'll go Derek Carr.
I'll also go Derek Carr over Dak.
I'm gonna go Dak. I think Dak is just so. I think he's so dynamic in a way that we've seen what he can do with Amari Cooper. We've seen what he could do with CeeDee Lamb. Now Zeke is obviously that guy. I just don't know if, like I said, Dak is probably 11th best quarterback, and I would probably put Carr 13. Just it's really close.
I think I have Dak on my top 10 and no Derek Carr though.
Yeah, you did.
Hey man, I'm just going off the top here. I made that list like 3 weeks ago.
Right.
Next I got, let's see. Oh, Dak and Kyler Murray.
I'm going Kyler Murray for sure.
Yeah, I'd probably go Kyler too. Up until, what is it, second week of November when COD comes out, I'll probably have Kyler Murray. But dude, that number, that like where you see his stats drop when COD comes out, and it gets even worse on double XP weekends. That shit is crazy. That shit is crazy, dog. Oh my god, it's fucking hilarious.
I'll go Dak. I had to stay true to my word now. Yeah, I'll go with Dak.
The last
Fuck
one
that
I
up. Fuck that list up bad, yo.
the last one I had was Lamar. And I'm going to take Lamar over Dak. Lamar, we've seen top end. He's an MVP if he's healthy. And losing Hollywood Brown hurts, but he has a great relationship with Mark Andrews. Rashad Bateman should be better this year. The offensive line is sick, and he's easily top 3 of all time when it comes to dual threat quarterbacks. I would probably put him 2 right behind Mike Vick. You just gotta see more Lamar. I mean, Mike Vick did it for so long. But right now, I would probably take Lamar over Dak.
Yeah, I would also take Lamar over Dak. Not a big Dak Prescott fan. I'm also a Giants fan.
No, are you? I couldn't
No.
tell.
Yeah, thank you for stating that.
But I'm just never been huge on Dak, and quarterback play is a lot of it is what you do in the playoffs, and he has not shown to be a gamer in the playoffs. He's showed a lot of his weaknesses and lack of game management and just making the big throws, and he's had, I mean, how much more do you need as a quarterback to win? We've seen guys in the past 10 years all win with less. And, I mean, this guy's had 2 to 3, 4 wide receivers that can go at any moment. He's had a top 5 running back in the league for pretty much every year. The offensive line's been great every year. Their defense has been pretty good. It was shaky, a few years, but
Definitely better now.
Yeah, I mean, bro, like the Cowboys are loaded. They're just always, underachieve. So I'm just not a huge Dak fan. So
What about you? Dak or Lamar?
It's really close for me. I'm going to go Dak because I got to stay true to my list. But it seems like, I feel like, especially last year, I was so high on Dak during the regular season at least. And then kind of in the playoffs after they came up short again, it's just been like, I don't know, like, for most of his career, I've always been like, Dak. Like, I've been a huge fan. But, yeah, like, he just hasn't really been able to get it done. I'm still going to go with him because it's just, like, to me, it's so close. But I'll give him the edge right now. But it's really, it depends on the day for me at this point.
I could tell.
You really got me there with those. So bad.
Quarterback I chose was Russell Wilson. So, would you rather Russell Wilson or Derek Carr?
Russ for sure. Yeah, I think he's already proven it.
Yeah, I'm going Russell Wilson as well. Russell Wilson or Lamar Jackson?
I think Russ is a better passer, so I'll probably take Russ.
I'll go with Russ.
Yeah, I think it's really close. I'm going to go Lamar Jackson right now from this year on. Obviously, for career-wise, sure, Russell Wilson is more accomplished than Lamar. But we're talking this current NFL season, moving forward, if I had to choose a quarterback for my franchise, I would go with Lamar Jackson right now. And then would you rather Russell Wilson or Matt Stafford?
Yeah, that's a tough one. I would probably... I might still go Russ. Just for the sake of, like I said, we've seen him do it. They have a loaded team in Denver right now, offense and defense. So I'll probably go Russ.
I'm gonna go Stafford. Coming off the Super Bowl, I'll give it to him. We haven't really seen. I mean, last year was just shaky. He was injured with Russ and all that stuff.
Right.
But I'm gonna go with Stafford.
Yeah, this one was really tough for me. I'm gonna give a slight edge to Russell Wilson. I just think he's more talented as a quarterback. They're pretty comparable and pretty close
similar. Close.
Especially even like in throwing the ball. But Russell Wilson's a little more dynamic. And I think I don't know, it's close because like Stafford's a good game manager. He's good.
I think he's
2 minutes.
more than that.
But no, I'm saying like towards the end of a game, like just clock management and like just like 2-minute drill stuff like that. Like they've both shown that they can both do it.
Yeah.
I think Russell Wilson's a little more efficient, and he takes care of the ball a little more.
Yeah. Stafford came into the league as a gunslinger. He still is a gunslinger. I think McVay definitely tempered him down a little bit compared to his Detroit years. Because in Detroit, I mean, he really wasn't working with anybody outside of Calvin.
Yeah.
And then Calvin retired early, and he had to try and go and work with what he had. And he still put up numbers. He still did this and that. But if we're also talking about who would you take to start your franchise right now if you redrafted the entire NFL, we were saying before, I mean, that elbow injury for Stafford might come and kind of change the dynamic of that offense. Is he going to be able to get the deep ball? Are they going to have to kind of cater to the running game more? So I think Russ is the guy right now if I had to take one to start my team.
Yeah.
Word. So I went with the young QBs. So my quarterback is Zach Wilson. So the first one is Zach Wilson or Trevor Lawrence.
I'm going Trevor Lawrence. I just think he has a lot more potential. If they both reach their ceiling, I think he has a higher ceiling than Zach Wilson.
I'm a Jets fan, so I'm still gonna go Zach. I think they're very close. Zach had a great end to the year. He had 0 picks in his last 5 games. He put up great numbers, especially against the Tennessee Titans. I mean, they're a team that people picked to go to the Super Bowl, and he had a sick game against them. I was there live. He was throwing the ball all over the place to guys like Keenan Cole. Corey Davis had a very good game. And now coming into his second year with Elijah Moore having that kind of comfortability, we'll see what happens after the injury. I mean, they say he should be ready for week 1. But
We'll see about that, though.
yeah, I mean, it's tough. It's a bone bruise. It's definitely better than what we thought.
And then torn meniscus, right?
Yeah, torn meniscus and a bone bruise. They said he should be back in like 2 to 4 weeks, depending on how the surgery goes. I think he had surgery today, so they'll do another MRI after.
I'd rather be careful, though, and have him miss the first few weeks. It's a rough schedule to start off for the Jets.
It is, but today's Sunday, so he has exactly a month from today. So
We'll see.
yeah, we'll see. He doesn't need to play week 1. I mean, if it's really that serious where you feel like he needs to kind of rest a little bit, throw Joe Flacco in there. I would much rather have Mike White just based off what we saw last year with him. But you got Joe Flacco against his old team. He knows the offense that he's running out there. He might feel comfortable playing against them just because he kind of knows what he's going up against with John Harbaugh. But I really hope he is ready for week 1.
I'll go with Zach as well. Homer alert, but it is what it is. So second one, Zach Wilson or Justin Fields?
Zach. No question.
Yeah, I would go Zach Wilson right now as well.
I would go
just
Zach
think
Wilson as well.
He's a much better thrower of the ball right now, for sure. Well, from what we've seen.
Yeah. Last one, Zach Wilson or Mac Jones?
Zach.
I would also go Zach Wilson, yeah.
I'd go Zach too, just for the upside.
Yeah, I think Mac Jones is probably perfect for that team. All they need is a game manager. I mean, we've seen them kind of like do what they had to do in that offense when Brady got suspended for those first 4 games with the whole deflating the ball and everything. They won games. Jimmy G came in. Jacoby Brissett came in. Yeah. We've seen them. Even when Matt Castle came and played for them,
when he tore his ACL.
Yeah, when he tore his ACL back in 08, 09.
Castle got paid from playing that year with the Chiefs.
Yeah, and then he lost his job to Alex Smith.
Yeah.
He was on the Vikings too, right, Matt Castle?
Probably as a backup.
I don't know. He bounced around a little bit after the Chiefs.
Yeah. He balled out that one year.
No, he did.
Belichick really does like.
Who'd they have that year? Was Jamal Charles?
Dwayne Bowe. Yeah.
They went like that squad went 10-6, right?
Might have been better than that, honestly. I think they won the West.
5,
yeah. Dexter McCluster.
Oh wait, no, sorry, bro. I was talking about the Patriots.
The Patriots, no, they actually.
I was talking about the Castle year with the Patriots.
Oh,
they went 11-5, and they didn't win the division. They lost it to the
Dolphins, right?
To the Dolphins, led by Chad Pennington.
Yeah, Ronnie Brown.
Yeah.
Shout out to Chad.
That was when they ran the Wildcat.
Yeah.
Yeah, Miami was really good that year.
I forgot who they were. Chris Chambers, I think.
Yeah,
Jason Taylor.
Word. You guys ready to get into MVP?
Yeah.
Let's
do it.
Start it up.
I'll start off. I mean, I've made this clear. I don't know if it started last episode.
If anyone's been paying attention.
I got Josh Allen. I mean, I talked about it all before, but I just think the Bills are going to ball out this year. So that's why I picked him.
I got Lamar Jackson for MVP this year.
Really?
I think Lamar's going to come back with a chip on his shoulder. I think a lot of people wrote him off last year. I think he's going to have like one of the best dual threat quarterback seasons in NFL history. I think this guy. I think they're going to win the North. I think they're a Super Bowl contender, and I think Lamar is going to show people that he's the real deal.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I got Allen. I think it's a toss-up between Allen and Herbert. I think they're both going to put up disgusting numbers this year with the teams that they got around them. I think it comes down to them in the AFC Championship game, so I think we'll see who kind of deserves it. Even though postseason really doesn't determine the MVP because they say it's a regular season award. But I'll give it to Allen just because I think he could have even won it last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll say Allen for MVP.
Word. Defensive player of the year, I got Aaron Donald. I just think he's the most dominant defensive player. It's pretty self-explanatory. I mean, he's just insane.
Probably, I would say ever.
You could make that case, yeah. He's coming back fresh off the Super Bowl. I just think he's going to have another dominant year.
I could see that. He was also contemplating retirement. I mean, they convinced him to
Yeah.
come back and everything. So, I don't think that plays a factor. I think like that's a safe pick. That's an easy pick to go with. I was actually thinking about going with him, but T.J. Watt. I mean, he almost broke the single season sack record.
He's awesome.
He easily could have done it if he played all of the games. He missed a couple. I forgot how many, but he missed a couple. But
Yeah.
I'll go T.J. Watt.
Yeah, I also have T.J. Watt for Defensive Player of the Year. He's sick. He's one of the
He's
best
legit
edge
for
rushers
sure.
we've seen in a long time.
Oh yeah.
Offensive player of the year, I went with Justin Jefferson. I left him off my top 5 QB wide receiver duos, but that was mainly just because of Kirk Cousins.
Right.
I didn't think he was on the caliber of those other guys. But, I mean, we've seen it. Justin Jefferson, he puts up ridiculous numbers.
Yeah.
He is the Vikings offense with Thielen. But I think he's just going to ball out this year again and prove why he's, a top 3 receiver.
Yeah, I was saying before. I mean, Justin Jefferson. I saw that in his first 2 years, he has the most yards of any wide receiver within his first 2 years in the NFL. So, I think that's a good pick. I went with Jonathan Taylor. He's just gonna. I think he could have had 2,000 yards last year, and if you're basically on the 2,000-yard mark, you're almost a lock for Offensive Player of the Year. But with Cooper Kupp winning the Triple Crown, I mean, it's really, we were saying before, there's so much talent in the NFL now. You really can't go wrong with who you pick until the answer comes out at the end of the year, and you're like, oh no, you were wrong.
Yeah.
But that's easy to say afterwards. But I'll go with JT.
Yeah. My Offensive Player of the Year, I got Christian McCaffrey. I think him and Baker are going to have a really nice dynamic. I think Baker's going to force feed him a lot. I think McCaffrey could have 1,000 yards receiving, 1,000 yards rushing, close to 70 to 80 receptions. I think he's, if healthy, I think this guy, I mean, he could be an MVP candidate. I know it's mostly a quarterback award now. Jonathan Taylor was on the cusp of it last year, but
Kupp too.
yeah, exactly. But yeah, I think CMC will win it this year. I like the Jefferson pick though, because I believe the coordinator from the Rams is with the Vikings now, the offense coordinator. Someone from the Rams, wide receiver coach or quarterback, someone is with the Vikings now. And Justin Jefferson was
sounds about
saying,
right. I forgot who.
he was saying, I see why Kupp got the ball so much.
Yeah.
He goes, they force feed him. But he goes, it's the strategies and the routes they run and the way they run the routes off of Kupp to free him up. And now they're doing that same thing with Jefferson. So if Kirk Cousins can do the right thing, I mean,
I think he'll be able to. I don't think Cousins is that guy to take you really over the top, but I think he can definitely
slice and
definitely
dice
run
and pick you
high-powered
apart.
offense.
Yeah. His stats on primetime games are pretty rough.
Yeah. But I mean, I think Jefferson is a much more dynamic receiver than Cooper Kupp. He's more athletic. He's faster.
Yeah,
so
for
I mean,
sure.
if you can kind of try to do the same thing that they were doing with Kupp with Justin Jefferson, I mean, this guy could have, an insane
He
year.
could break Kupp's record.
Yeah, right.
So last we got Coach of the Year. I went with Sean McDermott. I'm just riding I'm going all in with the Bills, like I said. I think that he's gonna have to prove himself a lot more because they lost Dable to the Giants.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think they're gonna have a dominant year. I think he's gonna showcase why he's one of the better coaches in the league. And yeah, he's got to prove. Dable. I mean, he was fantastic running that offense. So now we're gonna get to see a little bit more of, just what the Bills are about without him.
Yeah, for me, I got Brandon Staley. I'm big on the Chargers. Like I said, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. I think they beat the Bills in the AFC Championship game. So I'm gonna give it to Brandon Staley. He's another guy that comes from the Sean McVay coaching tree. He's proven what he can do with that team, and I think another year with Justin Herbert getting comfortable as an NFL quarterback and the defense being what they can be, adding in Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson and Derwin James, hopefully having another healthy year. I think Brandon Staley could easily win Coach of the Year.
Yeah, my coach of the year is also Sean McDermott. I think the Bills are going to run the AFC East for sure, probably sweep it, and they should win the majority of their games. I can see them going 14-3, 15-2,
Yeah, for
and I
sure.
think it's going to be like almost like a no-brainer. And you got to give it to him. I think they'll finish with the best record in the NFL this year. So
If they don't, I mean,
you don't
I'd
have
be-
to have the
they'd
best
be
record in the
surprised.
NFL to win Coach of the Year.
no,
No,
but I
no,
just
I'm
think
just
I just
saying,
think they're
like,
going
with
to
the division-
dominate.
yeah,
I just think
Right,
they're
yeah,
going to
no, I
dominate
agree.
so
I'm just-
much
yeah.
where it's just like, all right, you got to give it to them.
yeah, especially like as much as we love the Jets and stuff like that, it's like none of those teams in that division are really even anywhere close to the caliber of the Bills, at least where they should be.
Yeah, no.
I mean,
So-
we saw what the Bills did to the Patriots, right, in the playoffs last year.
Yeah.
That was disgusting.
Yeah, and then they had a shootout with the Chiefs, and it came up to a coin toss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Picked the wrong side. That's it. I mean, I definitely see, like I said before, with Sean McDermott. I mean, they have a great team over there. They could definitely do it. I agree that they probably will sweep the East. It comes down to whoever can probably sneak into a wild card spot from there.
Yeah.
Next, we had our best fantasy strategies.
Yeah.
Going into this year, I'd say it depends where you're at. Obviously, it depends 10-man, 12-man, 14, whatever. So,
PPR.
yeah, PPR. So, I mean, for me personally, like I do a lot of 12-man PPR. So, my strategy would be if you have a top 2 pick, I feel like it's a no-brainer. You go Jonathan Taylor or McCaffrey. I just feel like you have to. The wide receiver position is so deep. Cooper Kupp scares me a little bit just because of the Stafford injury. And if Stafford isn't out there, I don't know if Kupp will finish a top 5 receiver with all the talent we have in the league. But I would probably try to get an elite running back first, and then I would load up on wide receivers. If you're towards the tail end of the first round, I think you can pair 2 receivers back to back. Guys like Stephon Diggs, Devontae Adams, even Jamar Chase might fall 6, 7, 8 range. So I think you can pair, go back to back there, and then you can look for running back in the 3rd round. You can find guys like Zeke, Saquon, Nick Chubb, Kamara,
Cam Akers.
Yeah, Cam Akers, James Conner, J.K. Dobbins. So there's a bunch of running backs in that, that are still
Najee.
Javonte Williams.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of guys, but Najee is going in the 1st round in most drafts.
Well, I was thinking more of
towards the tail end.
Yeah, like if you have you could get Devontae with the 12th pick and then take Najee at basically with the back-to-back.
I haven't seen Najee falling that deep at all.
Really?
I've been doing a lot of mock drafts, and Najee's been going no later than 9.
Wow.
Yeah, he's going 7, 8, 9, right around. It's like Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, and him.
I think that's pretty high considering that they don't even know who's playing quarterback yet.
Well, maybe
Well,
that's
who's
why,
playing
because
running
he's
back?
just going to get a crazy workload.
Right, but for the same reason I was saying before with Saquon on the last episode, if teams are just going to load the box, I mean, you got to be able to have a running back who could break out, and I think he can, but he's another guy. I mean, we've seen what Steelers do with running backs. They kind of run them into the ground.
Yeah.
And Najee dealt with that his entire career at Alabama.
Yeah.
So at some point, it kind of takes a toll. But Le'Veon Bell was a little different. He was just all around.
He was more dynamic, yeah.
He was more dynamic. He lined up at wide receiver. He was catching balls out of the backfield. But he didn't have that high carry total when he was at Michigan State.
Right.
So, but for me, I agree. I think it's go heavy on wide receiver, wait on a wide receiver. Sorry, go heavy on running back, wait on a wide receiver if you can, but also wait on a QB. The difference between quarterbacks from outside of
There's two
Mahomes
guys
and Rodgers,
2 to 3 guys that you really would be like, okay. I can see
Yeah, that's
myself.
I feel like if you can get Mahomes or Josh Allen in the 4th round, and you already have at least one
They're going
running
in the
back
3rd
and
round, I
2
think.
receivers, 4th mostly that
I
I've
feel like-
seen, people have to reach in the 3rd round. I mean, I would
if you're at a
hope
certain spot, right?
if it's someone in my draft and they go and take Mahomes or Allen in the 3rd round, I'm pretty happy because that means someone else is falling to me that I probably shouldn't get.
Yeah.
But I feel like in the 4th round, if you can get Mahomes or Allen and you already have an elite running back and 2 wide receivers, you're looking pretty good. But like you said, like the difference in quarterbacks after that, I mean, you got guys like Kyler Murray, Lamar
Stafford,
Jackson,
There's a
Jalen
lot
Hurts,
this year.
Dak
Russell
Prescott,
Wilson.
even Trey Lance. I mean, could be a
dual
steal.
threat,
You
yeah.
can get him in the 8th, 9th, 10th round.
Yeah.
So there's so many guys. So I feel like if you don't get one of those like top 4 guys, you might as well just wait and load up at receiver or running back.
Yeah, and get a good flex.
Yeah. For me, it's always running backs early, but after that, for me, I like to focus on guys that are really just high usage or just like pass catching running backs, things like that. I like the guys like Austin Eckler, Saquon too, because like McCaffrey, like the fact that they have the chance to really, if it's a full point PPR league, and he's only rushing for 40 yards, it doesn't really matter if he's catching 7 passes for 50 and a touchdown.
Right.
So I like that as well. I try and always go situation over talent. I think guys like Juju in Kansas City this year and Christian Kirk, like we talked about earlier on the Jags, I think those guys are going to win people leagues because, they're just in a situation where they're going to be force-fed the ball.
Yeah.
They're not the most talented guys in the world, but, if I got Patrick Mahomes thrown to me and I'm his number 1 option or number 2 outside of Kelsey, like, I like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I saw a lot of people falling where it's just like, damn, like Tyreek Hill and Kamara are going in the 2nd round. They're going 18, 19. Who else was falling? I mean, like I said on the last episode, like Michael Thomas was in the 6th round. But even in those like first couple rounds, there's a lot of guys that you might have to reach for, but it seems like a much better pick. Like Cam Akers is ahead of Chubb. I don't. Are you guys taking Cam Akers over Nick Chubb?
The only
It's
reason
hard
why
with the Kareem Hunt, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But it's also Darrell Henderson is there also, and they're going to share a workload, and Matt Stafford, and they're definitely pass first. Cleveland in the first at least 6 games for right now is going to be run heavy.
Right.
And they use Kareem Hunt a lot more in the pass catching game, and Chubb is going to get a lot of carries.
Yeah.
it's almost more reason to go running back early because it's like some of these guys who we've known to like have dominant years are now sharing the backfield. Aaron Jones is going to share the backfield. AJ Dillon, like you said, Nick Chubb, and then even in Minnesota with Cook,
Alexander Madison.
Yeah,
he's
Madison
good.
every time that Cook misses a game, like Madison turns up. Like there's so much talent.
Zeke
in the
and Tony
league.
Pollard.
Yeah. There's only a few guys that really have that workload now.
Yeah.
Do you guys have your leagues ready yet? Like, do you know what pick you're going to be yet or no?
No.
So
Well, except that one
for one
league.
of them, we have one of them that I actually just got added into. I'm actually pick 4, but it's very different because it's a keeper league.
Oh.
So, and it's my first time being in it. So, obviously, people can only be kept for a certain amount of years depending on the price that you got them. And I'm actually not going to keep anybody based off the team that I got because the kid made a bunch of trades, and I have I think 11 or 12 picks in the first 8 rounds. So I'm not going to keep anybody. I'm just going to...
Oh, you're going no keeper.
I'm thinking about it because the one guy that I was thinking about keeping was Michael Carter with the Jets because he was a 16th round pick. But one of the trades he made during the year was he traded away Derrick Henry or somebody, and he added in the 16th round pick to make the trade work a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I wasn't able to keep him. So I might just say no keepers, just draft who I can. I got the 4th overall pick. I'm close to kind of that wraparound area where you're able to kind of get somebody who might drop.
Yeah.
But for the other league that I'm in, which is a bigger league, we don't find out until day of, I think. We do that hour before randomizer.
Yeah, for my league, I'm the commissioner, so every year I make kind of a funny video. I actually set the camera up.
Yeah.
I put the dun 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 dun, all that shit. And then I pick names out of a hat. So we just did it the other day, and I got the 3rd pick. And I wanted 1 or 2, or I wanted a later one. 3 is sketchy for me because more than likely JT's going 1, McCaffrey 2, or vice versa. And then I'm stuck at 3. So you got Cooper Kupp, Austin Eckler, Justin Jefferson, Jamar Chase. Right. What do you guys do there? I've been doing mock drafts every day and just trying to see how a team would play out. Obviously, some of the people in the mock drafts are stupid and like.
And then some people join in, and then they don't even draft. It's like
Yeah,
on
it's
the
all
whole
auto
time.
picked. I mean, someone grabbed Derrick Henry with the first pick overall, so it's hard to really judge. But I mean, my league is pretty competitive, so I would assume 1 and 2 would be McCaffrey and JT. If they don't, I'm stealing whatever with 1 and 3.
I could see McCaffrey falling out of the top 2.
So
Just
I
because
can
people
too.
are like a little scared, like to be like, I don't know if I trust this guy.
I mean, I
Yeah.
hope, and I'll take that bet. I'll take a gamble
He's
on
totally
McCaffrey
worth it. He
and
really is.
at 3 because it's like, why not? But I'm not confident going Cup at 3. I had Cup last year. I got Cup in the 3rd round. I had Jonathan Taylor and Cup on the same team, and now
Did you win?
No.
Wow, that's fucking
You had
nuts.
JT and Cooper Cup?
You
Yeah.
lost in the chip, or
Final 4.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's rough.
Yeah, Cleat won it. Cleat's team was loaded. He had Brady, Eckler. He was loaded. The chip was actually Cleat and Spencer. But I don't know. What would be your guys' advice for that? Like, do you go Cup? I'm just not sold on Cup, and I also don't like drafting the same guy 2 years in a row. I just feel like, and to amount what he did last year is going to be close to impossible.
Right.
So, do you go Eckler? But Eckler also is an
Eckler at
injury.
3, you said?
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 for me. I would probably be picking between Jefferson or Cup.
What about Derrick Henry?
That's what I was. Derrick Henry's a 7th-ranked player in PPR. It's like, do I reach and go get Derrick Henry? But that foot injury scares me.
On top of the fact that now that A.J. Brown is gone, Julio Jones is gone, they're relying on Treylon Burks. Box is
Yeah.
probably going to be loaded.
Yeah.
People know how to guard Tannehill in that offense now. I probably wouldn't go Henry there. I'd probably just go Justin Jefferson.
I was
just
thinking
'cause the numbers
Jefferson,
that he
too.
puts up.
I was thinking
Just
Jeff.
because, like you said before, like now that he's
Yeah.
got, like,
I was thinking Jeff, and then maybe on the kickback, you could grab like Saquon and J.K. Dobbins, which
yeah,
is
that's
2 of
what
my
I
sleepers.
would go like
Cam
if I'm
Akers.
picking that wide receiver
Right.
there, I'm going a running back.
All right, so we'll finish up with our New York predictions. Obviously, 2 Jets fans, 1 Giants fan. Hasn't been great for us for the past couple years.
Not at all.
More than a couple.
More than a couple.
At least you guys had those Super Bowls.
Yeah, at least I was alive
We've
for
had,
both
like-
of those. Like, I got to
we had,
witness
like,
2
playoff
Super
runs.
Bowls.
Yeah, a couple playoff runs while we were alive. But other than that, bro,
It's
it's just been really
going
nothing.
to MetLife Stadium is like.
Oh,
I
it's
just have
an
like
awful
I only have one
venue.
good memory there.
It's an awful place, MetLife
It's
Stadium.
really
I
it's
hate
the
it.
worst. It's so bad.
It's so
Yeah.
depressing. It's gray everywhere until you get to the field.
I think the last 3 times I've been. Monday night when OBJ like first got to the Browns, smoked.
Yeah, I was at a night smoked.
Yeah. Went to a Bills game, and this was before Josh Allen was not playing quarterback. I know that. Before we went to go walk in early. We're walking in. We missed I guess the first play or something. Touchdown. Like within the first few plays, it was already 7-0. It was freezing cold, horrible. We got smoked, and then
I think
this
I remember
past
that
year,
game. Yeah, I remember that game. It was in 2019. It was week 17. First play of the game was like a guy just ran a fucking go route. And he scored.
I don't know what week it was, but it was a horrible experience.
I've had some pretty good luck going to the Giants. Past 2 years, I went to Eli Manning's last game
Oh, that's cool.
against the Dolphins, and they won. That was a awesome game to go to. See Eli's last start. That was when
Yeah.
they benched him after that.
Yeah.
And then last year I went to the Carolina game where Darnold got benched, and Daniel Jones had that one-handed catch on the
Oh, that's pretty sick.
Yeah.
flea go route, whatever, the end around.
Philly special.
I saw the first game I went to ever, the first football game. I'll be brief, but it was the one where they won in overtime against the Patriots. Eric Decker in the corner.
Oh, in
Oh, wow.
2015. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
and
that's
then
a
they
good game to go
choked.
to.
They choked week 16 to the Bills to miss the playoffs.
Yeah,
They went
Thursday night
10-6.
football. Yeah, it's fucking
Uh,
awful. Those awful fucking jerseys.
Just brutal.
Christmas lights looking ones. The last game I went to was actually in Buffalo. I went to oh wait, no. Sorry. Last game I went to was actually last year against the Titans. I saw that game live. Free tickets actually. Shout out Obi. And before that I went up to Buffalo for New Year's in 2019. We went there. It was brutal.
Yeah, how
It
cold was that?
Oh my God, we didn't even make it through the first half.
You went home?
Because like it was the end of the year. Everybody was just sitting everybody, so the game didn't didn't really even matter. So, but that was so bad. Like I was layered up and everything, and we just couldn't get through it. But the first game I went to was also against the Titans. It was Jets Titans, and the Jets were wearing the throwback New York Titans uniforms.
Oh,
like the blue with the gold and everything.
Yeah.
And those things were so tough. And they won that game, I think. Thomas Jones was still on the team. He had a touchdown. It was sick.
That was way back.
That was way back.
Yeah, it's usually brutal experiences at MetLife.
Yeah.
It's
Oh,
horrible.
yeah.
Zach,
Yeah.
you want to start with your predictions?
Yeah, no, we could jump into it. So for this year, the New York Jets I have going 6-11. Obviously, I don't know how happy you guys are hearing that, but I just think the AFC East is very competitive. I think the Bills will run the table, and then I think between the Jets, Dolphins, and Patriots, it's going to be some tough games. Hopefully, Zach Wilson is healthy and he doesn't miss any early weeks. Hopefully, he's back by week 1. But like you guys said, the first couple weeks are going to be rough, and then obviously when you get into divisional play, it gets even tougher. So yeah, I could see them going 6-11, maybe 7, anywhere between that 5 and 7 range, right? I think it's kind of like a toss up. And then the Giants I have right around there also. I have the Giants going 7-10. Wouldn't be surprised if they went 8-9 or if the Giants went 6-11 also. But I think the only difference is I think the Giants have a chance of winning that division because of how poor it is at 7-10, 8-9, right around there. So yeah, either way, it's not going to be 2 great years for the Jets or the Giants. Not yet. I feel like both teams are close.
Yeah.
Both teams are promising and they have a bright future. I think the Jets moving forward might have a brighter future than the Giants because I think Zach Wilson is a lot better than Daniel Jones. But we'll see. It should be another. Yeah. We all go into the year very optimistic. So
always.
Both really were like it's just the GMs. For both teams, just set them back. It feels like 5 years.
Yeah, I said before.
Just
Maccagnan is probably one of the worst GMs in NFL history. He set the Jets back so far. On top of bringing in Adam Gase, and then before they brought in Joe Douglas, instead of letting Joe Douglas kind of let his regime kind of fill out and take care of an off season, he let Maccagnan make the draft picks, and then he fired him. So there was
a Phil Jackson type thing.
It made
draft
no
Frank
sense.
Ntilikina, then we'll fire you.
Yeah, come on, bro.
It's like the New York special, bro. It's
so stupid.
Yeah, the Yankees and Mets have been pretty good.
This year,
it's sick.
It's sick. The
outside of them and the Rangers, it's pretty slow.
Yeah. New York's
the Islanders
made
a couple playoff runs.
Yeah, they've been good for a while.
But for me, I actually have it flopped. I have the Jets at 8-9 and the Giants at 6-11, so pretty close.
Yeah.
But I actually think people are kind of downplaying how good the Eagles might be. They drafted probably the best defensive player, Jordan Davis, coming out of Georgia. He looked like a beast in their first preseason game. They added A.J. Brown, Jalen Hurts has another year under his belt. Devontae Smith also. So I think that they can kind of creep in. I think it's clearly Dallas's division. And then it's kind of like the Giants and Eagles fighting it out. For the Jets, the first month of the season is kind of tough. I can see them best case scenario 2-2. They play the entire AFC North.
Yeah.
They go. I think it's first the Ravens, then the Bengals, then the Steelers and the Browns. I don't know if I have that completely right, but
tough.
Obviously, no Deshaun Watson. Regardless of how the appeal goes, he either doesn't play the first 6 weeks or he doesn't play at all. So at least the Jets are able to go against whoever they end up putting in. I forgot who their backup is right now.
I think it's Jacoby Brissett.
Right? Yeah. So yeah, like I said, I got the Jets 8-9. That's I think a fair assessment. Also optimistic at the same time. They added Quan Alexander. They obviously drafted Sauce Gardner, Jermaine Johnson, Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson. They have plenty of weapons.
Had a really good draft.
Yeah, it all is contingent on how Zach Wilson performs. And coming off the injury, this is now his second knee injury in the past 2 years. First an MCL sprain or PCL sprain, then torn meniscus and a bone bruise in his knee. But Beckham being out hurt so bad. And the fact that they got Dwayne Brown, for 2 years. I think it was like $22 million they paid him. I think helps. I think the offensive line will be better. I just think that they need to focus on running the football and not having Zach Wilson roll out as much, because he doesn't do what he's supposed to do when he rolls out. He's trying to gain extra yards. That's how he got hurt. He just needs to say, all right, look, I got my 3-4 yards, slide, or run out of bounds, or do something. But he's the only way the Jets win games next year.
Yeah. I actually have the Jets at 6-11 also. I have the Giants at 5-12, and to me, it's like both these teams, I could see them in that 5-8 win range. Like, if the Giants won 8 games, it wouldn't surprise me. If the Jets won 8 games, it wouldn't surprise me. I just think they're both young teams, especially like the Giants are still. You got to see what you have with Daniel Jones. They kind of almost need a bad season to kind of. They're most likely gonna have to reset at that quarterback position, so they're probably gonna be drafting a guy in the first round next year. And then on top of it, I think they both play in good divisions. I think the Giants, everyone that the Giants play in division, is a solid team.
Yeah.
And then with the Jets, you got the Bills, and then like we were talking about before, the Dolphins, who are kind of sneaky good. So a lot comes down to what Zach Wilson can do, but we haven't seen it yet. So I think that both teams have they're young and they have a decent future ahead of them, but I do not think it's going to be a very winning season. But it kind of depends. It's like if the Jets go 6-11 and Zach Wilson shows signs and has more consistent play.
That's a good year in my
eyes.
And
it's just because their defense was horrible last year.
Yeah.
And it's the defense lets them down a few games, or they have a few close losses. They play some good teams. I'm happy with that. If you're a Giants fan, and it's either Daniel Jones shows that can be a starting quarterback on a good team, or you have Kadarius Toney break out or something like that. Some defensive guys. I think there's going to be a lot of areas where you can be confident in the future, but I don't think this year is going to be anything special for either of these teams.
Yeah, the Jets were a weird team last year. You're at home, you beat the Titans. They're a playoff team.
They beat the Bengals.
They beat the Bengals with Mike White at quarterback. I mean, they absolutely blew them out. And it was on the road.
Anything happens, right? When everyone was the Colts are shooing for making the playoffs. They're playing the Jags, and then they lose to the Jaguars. It just doesn't make any sense.
Anything can happen on any given week.
Any given Sunday, right?
Yeah, and it's on top of the fact that any team could get injured at any point. They could lose their quarterback. They could, in the Colts case, they could lose their running back if they don't have Jonathan Taylor. Can you rely on Matt Ryan having to throw 45 times a game? I mean, he's done it before in the past, but he doesn't have Julio Jones. He doesn't have Calvin Ridley. Michael Pittman's a good guy. He's a good player and everything, but he's definitely not on that level, at least yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll have to see. But when it comes to the Jets and the Giants, they're both kind of, like you said, in that 5-8 win range, depending on how the games go.
I think they're just trending in the right direction. They have guys like Salah and Dable. It's two respectable guys who know what they're doing.
Thanks.
It's they had these horrible GMs, and now they just got to build it back. So I think they're both taking steps in the right direction, but it's going to take a few years to really get to that. This team can compete for a Super Bowl.
Right.
Yeah, I just think the NFL is a lot better when the Jets and the Giants are competitive.
Yeah.
And the Jets and Giants are good. Just the NFL just feels better, And
yeah, New York.
That's how it is for every sport.
Yeah.
Yeah, when the New York team is just competitive, or a top team, it's
fun.
Just raises the bar, raises the the standard,
and all the teams around them in New York, regardless. I mean, the Rangers were in the playoffs. Brian Dable was at almost every single game.
Yeah.
And the energy that was there. The Mets were there. The Jets were there. Francisco Lindor is a big Rangers fan now, he said. And in the Giants case, for every team, as long as New York's doing good. Back when Nick's tape was going on, you had Shumpert, you had Mello, Jeremy Lin. No matter what, if there's a J.R. Smith, Tyson Chandler,
Stoudemire.
If there's some kind of sensation going on with New York and there's kind of that energy in the area, it feels better every single day.
You guys seen the Linsanity documentary?
Yeah.
No, they're making a documentary about that?
No, it's been out for years.
It's been out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's dope.
I think it's on Amazon now.
It was about him at Harvard. He beat he matched up with Kemba,
Dude,
and they played at
one of my favorite.
UConn.
I was actually at that first game where they played the Nets. I really didn't even know who he was. I was like, what's... And that was that weekend heading into it, the Giants were in the Super Bowl. So everyone was going crazy, what just happened? And then everyone's in the walking out chanting for the Giants. I swear I thought I saw Lil Wayne next to me in the bathroom after the game. I think I might have just been delusional, but I could have sworn he was right next to me.
Dude, and this year, you watch Mets and Yankees games. There's people in the stands with Rangers jerseys on.
Yeah.
And back in '94, when the Rangers won the Cup, and they were having their parade, the Knicks were in the Eastern Conference Finals that year.
What was that? What was that year? It was like I think the Rangers, the Jets.
It was that
Rangers
day in
and
history
Knicks
or whatever.
all won in the same year.
Yeah, I think it was April.
Crazy.
It was like
and
a
the
wild
Mets,
day.
Yeah, wait, did I say Mets? 69.
No.
The Knicks won in
I'm
69
talking about
and
94.
71. I'm talking about the early late
yeah.
60s, early 70s because
No, I think
the
they won
Jets won
1974.
69.
Who won 74?
The Knicks won,
The Knicks won 69 and 71.
and the Mets won in 69 as well.
And the Jets
Yeah.
won in '69.
Yeah,
And
so
then
69.
A
Yeah.
lot of the 70s was the Islanders, right?
No, the Islanders were the '80s. 80 to '84, they won 4 straight cups.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's our parents got to see all these things, but
Yeah.
we just
2000 was Mets Yankees.
Mets Yankees World
Didn't the
Series.
Giants lose to the Ravens in
Giants
2000?
lost to the Ravens in
Yeah.
2000. Ray Lewis's first year. First Super Bowl.
And then who won the NBA? The Spurs in
Spurs
2000.
or Lakers maybe?
Spurs or Lakers?
2000?
99, 2000.
Once we go back to then, that's when I get blurry with everything.
Yeah, I mean we were young, but
Yeah, that 2000 range. Because once you hit 04 and you're it's the Pistons, then it's then you start catching on to who won.
well, it's
every
just
single
because
one
it
of
was
those
the
years.
Lakers and Spurs for from once Jordan was done, it was Lakers Spurs for a little while.
Yeah, and then it
Spurs,
was the random
Lakers, Spurs.
Pistons
Yeah.
year.
So, but whatever. But yeah, I mean, hopefully this will be a better year for New York sports.
Yeah,
Well,
let's
New York
hope so.
football at least. And
Yeah.
when's the next time the Jets and Giants play in a regular season game? Is it next year? It's every 4 years, right?
I think
Or every
so,
3
yeah.
years?
He would know that now.
I believe it's next year.
It's every 4 years because they go through each NFC.
Yeah, I think they played in. I want to say they played in 18.
That's probably it sounds about right, but I mean that would be dope if they finally start getting everything together and they play that time.
Right, that's what I'm saying. By this time next year,
Yeah.
if Daniel Jones figures it out and the Jets start putting it all together and they'll play, I don't know, week 12 and they're both 8-3 or something like that. That
Yeah,
would be
that would be
awesome.
sick.
And it would be a good game.
We'll see. Let's hope.
Yeah.
I hope they're both good, honestly. It's
Yeah.
more fun when they're both good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Sure.
All right, dope. Good episode,
Good
fellas.
episode.